Maybe to give us what challenges did you meet when you are trying to map? Because I know it's not like I'll be seeing a pop coming out there. Maybe how compliant were the people? How was the whole process? Like, how was it?
Oh, you're asking the inventory process?
The inventory process.
Okay. Now, by the way, pops are chemicals which are dangerous to human health and environment.
Yes.
And these pops are affecting the whole globe.
Yes.
So to manage and control these pops, countries came together and formed a treaty, an international treaty.
Yes.
It's part of what we call the multilateral environmental agreement.
Yep.
It's called the Stockholm Convention, which Uganda is part.
That's something I learned here.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I've learned something new here.
You see, that's very good, by the way, awareness. We shall talk about it later, but it's good people now get to know these things. Uganda actually joined and is part of this convention around 2004. I don't know where you were by then, but we were there.
I think I was in nursery.
Whatever, I don't know. But Uganda actually is part, and I think it's Article 7 or Article 9 of this convention. I'm not so certain yet. The articles, there are 30 articles, which demands for these countries to update and review the amounts of these chemicals they have in this environment. Because the population keeps on
growing and things are changing.
These activities I'm talking about are the ones which are releasing. So we are doing them more intensely.
Yeah, indeed.
Yes, so that's really what I'm trying to bring out there. The
background of what you are doing, because someone would ask now, why are you doing these things? How are you concerned? How did they come in place? But that really background you are giving, so yes, it helps them. The
Stockholm Convention is to control these chemicals, so it requires us to update. So here in Uganda, National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, which you all know, at least even a kid, at least you know what NEMA is. Its role is to regulate, it's a regulator. So it had to lead in the inventory process.
Indeed.
Of which actually happened last year. The most recent is 2024. Where we have to go to find out how much of these pops are in the environment.
Yes.
That's what you call an inventory. Whether you're an economist, at least you have heard of that word.
Yeah.
How much do you have there? So an inventory is simply a process of collecting the past and the present data on the use of these articles or chemicals which contain pops. And even finding out how much of these chemicals are actually there.
Yes.
Now, this activity works on all of these pops, as I categorized them earlier. The pesticides, the industrial chemicals. They are also old and new industrial chemicals, by the way, but that's a bigger thing.
Yes,
I think that's why you wanted to talk about pops.
Yeah.
And then there's also a team which worked on the U-pops, and I was part of the U-pops team.
Oh, that's at least good to know.
We ended up, I was the one actually who compiled the whole report of all these chemicals, but I was my hands-on was really on the U-pops. That's where I really worked. Now, you also said what challenges. I'm sorry to take long on this, but I want everyone to get the background.
Yeah. That's really
what
important.
Challenges do we face in doing this work?
Yeah.
Because it is important, if you fight something like these pops in the environment,
yes,
you need to know how much is there. And that informs your implementation plan. Implementation plan, because you look to reduce and eliminate actually these chemicals, either in production or usage throughout the whole life cycle of the chemical. Yes, but now there are some challenges you face in doing such work. Manufacturers normally don't like disclosing information. Yes, which will help you to actually quantify how much of these chemicals is in the atmosphere. Because the United Nations Environment Program normally gives us the inventory task teams, what we call a toolkit, which has emission factors from all these sectors. I didn't give you all the sources, but we know if I'm saying a border emits this kind of U-pops, there's an emission factor in it. It needs too strong engine. And in the transport sector, actually, border release more pops because there are men.
Yeah,
So
and we love using them here.
So
in
that's
Uganda.
the major challenge, just disclosing that information. Even when you go there with the name tag NEMA, people, whenever they hear NEMA, they're biased.
Yeah.
They don't know what you're really going to do. Yeah. So that is it. I can't say about that. Maybe the challenge, that's the major challenge we face in that. And maybe the funding. The other thing we have in the country is the funding. Normally funding is an issue, funding these initiatives.
Yeah.
So
they feel like they're wasting money or something like that.
Maybe you're part of the technical team, you go to West Nile, and you really cannot be everywhere with this small amount of money to inventory. Yet it would be better to actually touch every point in Uganda. The gaps in this process is that the equipment to actually test these chemicals, we don't have laboratories with the equipment to do the testing. Also, now this methodology of inventorying is divided into 3 tiers. We have the initial assessment, then the preliminary evaluation, and then the tier 3, which is the in-depth analysis, which involves laboratory analysis. I have to take these plates, or even these genets you've given me on your show, to the laboratory to actually find out. But the laboratories we have, maybe the Directorate of Government Analytical Laboratories, or the Ministry of Water, whatever laboratories, maybe universities.
Yes.
They may not really have these resources, equipment to actually do the analysis. And that's what really is a big gap for a developing country. Analysis. It's really expensive to get this equipment though. Yeah. So what we do, for developing countries, UNEP gives us toolkits. That's the only way we can actually know these concentrations in that. In the environment and because I would say maybe the shirt you're wearing has this kind of. When you talk of emission factor, is like that shirt can give a certain amount of these pops. But how many shirts are like this in Uganda? That's what I do in the laboratory. The one shirt of yours is producing maybe 20 micrograms toxic equivalent factor of a pop. So my work in the inventory is to find out how many shirts
like these ones.
Nature, if I know, I can easily quantify. So that's how it works out. But if I really knew, I had an equipment which does that analysis and shows that this atom is here. That's the dangerous chemical, because the methods like analytical methods like the X-ray fluorescence, X-ray diffraction, mass spectrometry, the mass spectrometry, or I can even call it ICP-MS, gas chromatography. Some of these things, or chromatography in general, they're really expensive to actually carry out for a country like ours.
So maybe from these findings, what surprised you, or what surprised you in a way that you did not expect it, in a way, whether it was good or whether it was very bad than the way you expect. For example, you go to one industry, you feel like this industry may be emitting a lot, and then you're shocked that maybe they have done some improvements, or maybe in an industry kind of like a sector whereby people have now gone far in a bad side. So which one was the positive win compared to the previous ones, and the more negative win, like a hint of what happened?
When we did the 2007 inventory, I'm just giving an example. You may find that activities like maybe mineral production produce these chemicals, or metal. I should give maybe, let me see which one there. Maybe leather tanning.
Yes.
And one of those processes, the industrial activities, are generating more pops at that time.
Yes.
But if I'm to do the inventory like we did in 2024, and we benchmark on the 2007 inventory, you'll find that activities like open burning and waste incineration are generating more of these pops. Would you ask yourself such a question? Because 2007, those are how many years back? This is 2025.
Oh, some time
18 years, I think. Is it? I don't know.
Let me see.
What would you expect the population of Uganda to be? What was our population in 2007?
I don't know, but I will find out. I think I will attach it down here.
Anyway. Then he last did what?
Census.
Yes, and you found out we are around 40, how many million? 46 million. So the intensity of the activities in 2007 is not the same like today. We are generating more waste, which contains these pops.
Yeah.
So would you even, in my position, do you expect me to be surprised about such?
No.
That's the way. Anyway, that's how I brought it. But nowadays activities which humans are really doing is generating waste. Waste which you can actually manage in other better ways.
So about you hinted about the host spots. Yes. And how do you think can people out there, as you have said, as you'll be telling us more, how can which activities can these people be involved into to try to limit the exposure, the release of these POPs? Any advice from a scientific point of view in that, at least as a common Ugandan, I know I've done this at least to reduce this amount, and this someone today will start and do something better than what they were doing before.
So now those are practices anyway, but I'll start with the a gap like awareness.
Yep.
Ignorance is a very big problem in our population here. Ugandans, we are ignorant. We are all. I will tell you that one. And ignorance is really too bad because it can lead you to your failure and whatever. And it's really expensive to be ignorant, by the way. You pay a lot. But I'm not in any way insulting anyone. But what I'm trying to bring out is awareness. That's what we can really do. And I will repeat this even in the other intervention in case you come up with some questions of how we can go about this issue. It's simply the simplest way you can go about the ladies of unintentionally produce POPs is by creating awareness. Let somebody at least know. And what I'm really appreciative of what you're doing, to create awareness. Let somebody know what a POP is.
Yes.
At least you get people to know what POPs are and how are they harmful. Awareness. Also government should look maybe to support people, who are in doing clean production
and technologies.
Actually, Uganda, that organization where I am should really be supported actually in such interventions. Uganda Cleaner Production Center should be supported to help most of these manufacturing sectors transition to cleaner production. By maybe using best available technologies or best available techniques. Because if you're using an incinerator which is really obsolete,
beyond help,
you go and you're doing an inventory and say, we actually went up to Kilembe there, and that hospital which was swept by
the flood.
But they build their better incinerator. That shows that they've done something.
Yes.
Because if the incinerator is poor, that means even the combustion conditions are favoring formation of the what?
The POPs.
So if they can transition to better or best available techniques and technologies, or even better environmental practices, that would be actually better. We may not really look to ban waste openly as the way to manage them. Maybe we should look at how we can really reduce this waste at the source. Even in a home, if I bought something in a packaged thing, this way I will not generate waste. But how do we now manage except banning?
Yes.
Because if you're going to be banning, POPs are coming.
Someone may be asking, how are these things affecting me? Always some people they're like, if it doesn't affect my health, I'm okay with it. I'm fine and all this. So highlight to them what are the effects of you POPs and then POPs as a general class of chemicals out there.
Okay. Thank you so much. Something is not bad until it has happened to you, but we should not wait for crisis to act. So the question is, what are the health impacts of POPs? I'll expand it to the environment as well, but let me start with the health. POPs have a lot of health effects, and the effects are not positive, of course.
Yes.
And negative. One of them is that they are carcinogenic in nature. If I say something's carcinogenic, it's cancer causing. Cancer is one of the top killing or killer diseases we have now today. And we also have reproductive issues.
And there are many these days, by the way, as you have highlighted.
POPs can actually affect your reproductive system as a man, as a woman. sperm formation, such things. Yeah, reproductive health, they can impact it.
Yeah.
Then the major one, which I will go with, is endocrine disrupting chemicals. They disrupt the endocrine system.
Oh, now someone may not know what is endocrine.
Oh,
So
okay.
help them, give them a simple term, a simple explanation of what that means.